Hello, in this series I'm going to help you get started with creating Java plugins for Minecraft servers. Before we get started, I'd like to talk about who this video is for. This is an intermediate tutorial intended for programmers who are already familiar with a language. It doesn't have to be Java, but being familiar with the basics, like if statements, loops, variables, and functions will be necessary to follow the tutorial. It will also help to be familiar with lists, hash maps, hash sets, and object-oriented programming, though I will give a quick recap of those topics at the end of the video. You don't need to have any experience with creating Minecraft plugins or mods to follow this tutorial. Because of this, I will be speeding through all of the setup stuff, like creating the project and setting up a test server. I will include some tutorials for these in the description if you're not familiar with those aspects. Finally, I'd like to remind you that the best way to learn programming is to put it into practice. So you shouldn't spend hours watching 20 different tutorials. After this tutorial, you should have a plugin running on your server, and you should try to make some stuff on your own. And obviously, feel free to leave a comment if you get stuck on anything. Okay, so I'm using IntelliJ IDEA as my IDE. This is a homepage. First, I recommend you go over to the Plugins tab and then type in Minecraft Development into the Marketplace search bar. And this one will pop up with 1.9 million downloads. This will just help you create a Minecraft plugin, and it'll handle all the setup stuff for you. So, like, you don't need to configure Maven or download PaperMC manually or anything. You can just click a few buttons and it will do everything for you. So once you've installed this, you might need to restart IntelliJ, and then you can head over to Projects, New Project. Give your plugin a name. I'm going to call it Tutorial Plugin. The location is where your project directory will be made. So I'm going to make it in my C drive. You can leave Create Git Repository checked. And for the groups, obviously we're making a plugin. We're not making a mod or a proxy. For templates, I'm going to go with Paper. For build systems, Java has two different build systems, Gradle and Maven. They tell the computer how to turn your code into a program that it can run. So it's kind of similar to CMake or pip or Node Packet Manager or crates, if you've used any of those. I'm going to go with Maven, and then language, I'm going to go with Java. Minecraft version, you should just use the latest one, which for me is 1.21.11. The plugin name you can leave as the same as the name of your project. For your main class, the first three is your package, which is basically the folder where your code will exist. So the Java convention for this is the first one is me, and then dot your username, dot, and then the project name, which is tutorial plugin. And then this part here is the name of your main class, which I recommend just doing the same name as your project. It does have to start with an uppercase. Actually, it doesn't give an error, but it does have to start with an uppercase here. Paper manifest I'm not going to be using. Optional settings I'm going to leave as is. And build system properties I'm going to leave as is. For JDK, I'm going to be using Java 21. So if you've not got that, then download it. This is just what the Java version that Minecraft 1.21.11 uses. If you're watching this in the future, maybe it's a later version. You can just Google what the version is. If you're not sure, just go for 21. And then click Create. So this is the project. First, we're going to go to the pom.xml. This is basically a big configuration file that tells Maven how to build your project. And Maven is the build system that we're using. You don't really need to understand any of this at the moment. I will be making another tutorial going over it later on, but it's not really relevant right now. The one thing I will change is I'm going to paste this code snippet in here it will be in the description. Basically what this does is it changes where your plugin is output to, and it puts it into this folder here. So it puts it in my plugins folder on line 57. And you can change this to what you want. If you wanted to make it into your own plugins folder, or if you wanted it just on your desktop or anything, you could change that. And yeah, make sure you have got a test server set up. If you haven't, then I'll have a tutorial in the description which you can use. This will just allow us to test the code. After pasting that in, you need to go to Maven, and then just click this refresh button here and reload all Maven projects, and that'll just update Maven. So it'll be now using the new output directory. That could take a minute if your internet connection is slow, since it needs to download PaperMC, which is the API that we're using to make a Minecraft plugin. Next, we want to go over to this drop down here and click Edit Configurations, Add New, Maven, and Verify. And then we can click Apply and OK. And what that does is whenever we click this green button up here, or when we press Shift F10, then it will compile our project and put it into the plugins folder. So as you can see, there's no plugin here. Plugman X and Fire version are different things. And if I just compile it, the first time you do this, it might take a while, but after that, it'll be quite quick. And my plugin pops up here. And then if I launch my server, I recommend you do this too, just to make sure everything's working. Okay, my server's just finished launching, so if you type plugins in here, make sure there's no slash at the front. Then it'll give you a list of plugins that your server is running, and your plugin should show up. If it doesn't show up, or if it's red, then you've done something wrong. There's probably going to be an error somewhere up here, which will tell you what you've done wrong. If there is no error, then just make sure you've got the plugin in your plugins folder and you've not put it somewhere else accidentally. So I'm going to go to my tutorial plugin class here. This is the main class of your project, which will handle like registering everything and setting stuff up. Also, there is a plugin.yml here. This is a configuration file. You can leave it as the defaults for now. First thing is events. These are basically how you get notified when something happens. So an event could be like a player jumping, or a player clicking an inventory, or a mob taking damage or something. So to listen for events, you need to type implements listener at the top and make sure you get the org.bucket.event1. If you get the wrong one, and instead you got that one there, for example, then just get rid of that. Oh wait, get rid of that, and then get rid of that, and then you can try again and get the correct one. So this runs when your plugin starts, this runs when your plugin stops, which are pretty self-explanatory. And now we'll create an event. So any event method needs to be annotated with event handler. That's what this is. It just goes above your function, just like at override. And then we'll create a new method. Let's call this player jump. And then we'll take in the event that we want to listen for. So in this case, player jump event. There is really good documentation for plugins. So if you just click and then make sure to download sources, you've got comments everywhere. And I'll also link to Java docs in the description if you want to look for a list of events and stuff. So this code runs whenever a player jumps. So we can get the player using event.getPlayer. This returns a player. Make sure you import it. So up here, it automatically got imported. And then we can run stuff on this player. So for example, we can send them a message. You jumped. And then we need to register our listener on enable method. So let's get the server, get the plugin manager, and then register events, this. So this in Java just returns the current instance. Most programming languages do use this as the keyword. Python uses self though, if you come from that. So it takes in two parameters, listener, which is what's actually listening, and the main class of your server, of your plugin. So that is tutorial plugin. But we're also listening in our main class, so that's why I passed this for both of them. But normally, listener would be something else. And then I'm going to make sure to compile my project. And I'm just going to reload it using plugman, which is a plugin. You can also restart your server if you want to do that. It's just a bit faster to use this. Okay, so if I jump, then it says you jumped in chat, and this happens whenever I jump. You can also send colored messages. For that, you need to call another function called bucket.translate. Wait, sorry, chat color. Translate alternate color codes, and then you pass in. The first is the color code, so we always use and, then we can use colors. This is the text that is going to be colored, so this will make it pink. And then if I run it, and make sure to reload, and I jump, and my messages are pink now. You might be wondering what this highlight is. That's because using chat color is deprecated, which means it's outdated and no longer the best way to do it. As a modern way to do it, we would use components, but they're a lot more complicated, and lots of people still use chat color, so it's totally fine to do it. I will be making a proper tutorial on components, but this is basically how they work. And they are a lot more flexible, but they're also a bit more complicated. So if I run this, well, actually I'll change the color to like yellow, just so that we can see something has changed. And then if I jump, the text is yellow. But yeah, I will be making a proper tutorial, but I would need like 20 minutes to fully explain components, so yeah. I'm going to remove that for now, and next up, I'll show you how to make a command. So public boolean on command sender string label string args. And we need to implement command executor. So just like we need to implement listener when we're listening for events, if we're listening for commands, we need command executor. And then we need to write this function. And we can write override too, because we're overriding a method from command executor. Looks like I missed a parameter. Oh, I need to write command here. So this is the sender. This is the player or the console who sent the command. Generally, you can just cast this to a player. This is information about the command, like all its aliases and everything. We don't need to worry about that right now. This is the command that the player actually typed in. So, like, if you've got, for example, a /balance top, and then you've got an alias for /bal top, label would tell you which one the player actually ran, but we don't really use this anymore. And then we've got args, which is just a list of the arguments the player passed in. So first, I don't really care about the console sending a command, so what I'm going to do is check if the sender is not player. And if it's not, then I'm going to return false. And I'm going to send you must be a player to use this command. So this here checks if the sender is a player, and then this assigns a name to the player. So this is basically declaring a variable. And then this is just a not operator, so we're checking if the sender isn't a player. And in Java, it's a bit weird with instance of, you do need to wrap it in brackets before using the not operator. And then we send them a message, which is just exact same as before up here. And then we return false. So it takes Boolean, and generally you return false if the command was used incorrectly, and return true if the command was used correctly. It doesn't have that much impact. The actual difference is if you specify a usage when registering your command, if you return false, that usage is sent. But normally we don't use that because it's just more flexible to write it in code. And then I'm going to type return true down here, because if the sender is a player, then they used the command correctly. And I'm just going to send hello to the player whenever they run this command. And I guess I'll also send the argument. So if they specified an argument, if args.length greater than 0, then I'll send your argument args 0. So that just gets the first element in that array and sends it to them. And then over here, we need to register the command. So get command. Hello is what I'm going to call the command, and set executor this. Again, normally your executor would be some different class, but just for now we're using the main class, so this. And then we go over to plugin.yml. For every command you make, you need to register it here. So you make a command section, then you type in your command, and you need to give it a permission and a description. So test myserver.test. You don't actually need to give a permission, but if you don't, then only people who are opt will be able to use the command. And then a description is just what it does. Sends hello. So this will be sent if you type /help. And then if I compile my project, and then reload the plugin, and I type /hello, then it sends hello. And if I type /help and then my plugin name, tutorial plugin, oh, actually /hello. Oh, this is because I've reloaded the server. I need to restart it for the help menu to show up, so I'll just do that real quick. Okay, so I've just restarted my server, and now if I type /hello, then the command says, but if I type /hello /help tutorial plugin, oh, I misspelled it there, and then it sends this, and the description is right here. Okay, that's all I wanted to go over in this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more tutorials.